Thank you so much for that, Nonye. That is very important. And of course, for those of you that are listening to us, we're going to be spending some time about body safety today with Nonye. She's going to be explaining to us what it means, how can you protect yourself, uh, why it is important that we need to teach this is to our children. You see, you just heard that she has a petition on change.org which is raising awareness. This is a very important conversation. But before we move there just now, Nonye, I want you to help me understand that incident when you were 8 years old that happened in the public, which means people were there, they're supposed to have been able to help you, they didn't help you. Tell me if your parents were ever aware of it, and also this person that violated your right, that molested you. How old was the person? And you also said the person was a relation, if I'm not mistaken, sort of is related to the family. Help me clarify that because all these are very important in terms of how we protect our children, how we protect ourselves, and how we make sure that we remove those individuals who are always looking for a way to take advantage of the vulnerable members of our society. Yes, go with that, please.
Okay, so he was an adult. He was, I think he should have been in his early 20s or mid 20s. Then my parents never knew because I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them. It's just recently, last year, I started talking about it. So my parents never knew. The only person that knew was my elder brother because he was the one that saw me on my. He was the guy that was on his side was actually older than him. He saw it and he wasn't comfortable, and he was the one that called me from far to come. So he was the one that actually helped me at the end of the day. But the guy had already what he did. So it was my elder brother that helped me then because he called me, and it was when he called me that I was able to get out of the man's grip. So the guy was an adult because he was in his early 20s or mid 20s, and he's a family friend. Yes, family friend. He's a family friend of the family.
And for what he did, okay, because you didn't tell your parent, your brother also. I want to believe that your brother now, in this case, you told him or you didn't tell him what happened from there. Nobody took action on it. Why did he not take? Why did they take action? Was it because it was not? There was no need for it. They didn't feel it was necessary. Can you say anything about that?
Yes, I was 8 years, and he was, let's say, maybe in his teenage, maybe he was 14 or 15, and the guy was mid 20s. So all he knew was he saw me sitting on the guy's side, and he saw the guy's hands on my chest. That obviously didn't make him comfortable, and he called out to me to come. He didn't know all that happened, and I didn't tell him all that happened. You know, our society, things concerning abuse is hidden. Things concerning abuse is treated in secrecy, so people hardly talk about it. So that was what happened. Because he was just in his early teens, so there was little to nothing that he could do. And my parents didn't know because none of us ever told them. I didn't tell them because I didn't even know how to tell them.
Mm-hmm. All right, I get that. Now, this is the last question I'm asking you there before we move into body safety. Now, looking back into what has happened, looking at how small you were at that time, and how the person who is older than you, who was supposed to protect you, started to take advantage of you. And of course, your brother now, your brother is also small. Perhaps you didn't understand because you didn't tell them, so they didn't take action on that. Now, what do you think you would have done in that case? Do you think you could have, if you have shouted, you could have been treated differently. I mean, tell me what you think you could have done, having passed through what you passed through, to have a change. Because I want to believe that when you talk to small children, some of them will have a curiosity. You do advise them what to do. I'm sure you don't want to tell them, hey, somebody is touching you, keep quiet, no? So help me understand what you think you could have done then at 8 years of age.
That is, I should have been able to say no. Stop it. I wouldn't even sit on his thighs in the first place. Even if he called out and said, sit on my thighs, I would tell him no. I don't want to, and you cannot force me. I don't want to sit on your thighs, and I will not sit on your thighs. I wouldn't have been afraid or compelled to sit on his thighs. I would have told him there, I am not sitting on your thighs, and don't ever tell me to sit on your thighs again. So if I knew what I know now, that is what I would have told him, even as at 8. So when I go to the schools, when I talk to children, this is what I teach them. I teach them they have right to decide what happens to their bodies. Nobody else, no adult, no pair, nobody except themselves. They have every right to speak out when somebody is hurting them. That is what I always tell them. It doesn't matter the situation, whether it's in the case of abuse or just the bullying in school, but whatever situation they are in and they are uncomfortable, they must speak out. That is what I go and teach them. I teach them how they should imbibe it, how they should continue. Even in their family, I tell them, if your father or your mother hurts you, you have every right to say, Mommy, Daddy, I didn't like what you did. You did this, you did that, it hurts me. That is what I teach these children, because it is when they are able to speak out that others around them say, okay, this child needs help. This child is defending herself or himself, is trying to speak out against this adult that is trying to do this, or against another child that's trying to harm him or her. So let's say I was 8 and I knew what I knew now, that is what I would have done. So the abuse wouldn't have happened because I would have straight up, I cannot sit on your thigh. So whatever he did that day would have not even happened because I wouldn't have even sat on his thigh in the first place.
All right. Thank you so much for that. This is very important. I remember now. I've talked to different experts, psychologists, and people that are working with children, both against a victim, both at the level of the United Nations, those working at that area, organizing symposium or how to sensitize them. You see, I live in Italy, and Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian women have been trafficked to this place. A lot of that has been violated, and in fact, all across Europe, not only in Italy, but of course, that of Italy is very particular in a certain sense. So this topic is very, very important. Also for the fact that it relates also to Nigeria, because a lot of Nigeria, I think Nigeria top the chart of the women that are trafficked to Europe. So this is why I think it's very important. And I find it also very valid what you are doing, in that based on what has happened to you, you have taken it up upon yourself as a duty to help other people so that they cannot become victim. You are telling them what they should do. In fact, because of what you know, what you could have done in that case to avoid what happened, you don't know what to tell them. And this is very, very important. All right. Now, tell me about the project that you are working on, the Body Safety Academy. This is where we are going to be spending most of our time today. What does it mean? What do you do there?
Okay, so the Body Safety Academy is an organization that seeks to help families, that is adults and children, parents and children. It equips parents and children with the skills to prevent sexual abuse. That is, with our teachings, what we teach the children can be armed up, and that would help prevent sexual abuse. With what we'll teach the they would be knowledgeable about it, and they will be able to teach their children, which would also help prevent sexual abuse. So we have courses, we have WhatsApp classes, we have email courses, we also have one-on-one consultations. All this we do to equip families, against sexual abuse. Then we have an ongoing project. We aim to reach 3,000 primary school children with free body safety education. It's actually an hour. So we aim to reach 3,000 primary school children with an hour of body safety education. So we are going around schools in Kaduna State and teaching them body safety. So that's what it's actually Raise Don't Ruin campaign. That's the name of the campaign. So I use that to teach my audience so that they can learn and practice it in their homes.